Hello everyone, my name's Eleanor and I'm the Education Manager at Benjamin Franklin House. Welcome to this, our third and final live session that we're running today as part of our virtual Children's Christmas Fair. Although all of the live sessions have been recorded and will go up on our website, and there are some other pre-recorded activities for you to enjoy on our website today as well. I'm so delighted to be welcoming Amy Todd, who is the Programme Manager at Newington Green Meeting House, and she's going to be telling us today how to make a snow globe and also a little bit of the history of her site. So thanks so much for joining us, Amy. I'll hand over to you.
Hello everyone, welcome. Yes, so I'm the Programme Manager at Newington Green Meeting House, which is an old church building, which is in Hackney, Islington, if you're in London. And it's over 300 years old, and the project that I work on has recently restored all the building to make sure that it's all safe and everything. And then we do lots of work like this to kind of share the histories and stories of the building. So really, when it comes to the activity that we're going to do today, which is very science-based, which I know that Benjamin Franklin House do lots of science-based things. It's because, a bit like Benjamin Franklin House, we have lots of links with scientists, famous scientists and people that have done exciting experiments in the past. So these pictures are a few of the people that have been part of the Meeting House's history. I don't know if you'll recognise this person on the right, but that's Benjamin Franklin himself, who did lots of experiments, as I'm sure you'll all know. And then some of these other people here, we've got Joseph Priestley and Pritchard, and these again were big scientists. And the Meeting House really encouraged people to start thinking differently and asking questions, and I think that's why the Meeting House has lots of scientists associated with it. So we're going to do a bit of a science experiment today, inspired by that, and we're going to do a snowstorm in a jar. Now, I've never done this before, so I'm doing this live with you. So if you've got the stuff, join me to do it, and if not, hopefully you can get the stuff. It's very easy to get from a local shop, everything we're going to use, and you can do it another time. And as Eleanor said, it's going to be recorded too, so if you can't remember how to do it, then you can just come back to it later. So what do we need to do a snowstorm in a jar? So what you need is a clear glass jar. I'm using a kind of cup here. You could use a kind of flower vase or something that's clear, and then I filled it with baby oil. Now you can use any oil, but baby oil is quite good because it's clear. So like the picture here, this is what we're going to create. So if it's clear, it looks more like a snowstorm. So in here I've got baby oil. I could have really done with a bit more, but it was only a small bottle that I could get. And what else do we need? We need some glitter. I've got some blue glitter, but I was thinking blue or silver glitter is a good way to make it look like a proper snowstorm. We need white paint. This kind of liquidy poster paint is great for this. We need some water, not too much, just about a cupful. And then we need a bowl and something to mix it. I'm using a whisk because I thought that would be easier. And then the final ingredient that we need is Alka-Seltzer. You might have used this in some science experiments before because it makes things fizzy and it makes things effervesce. And that's what we're going to need to make a snowstorm. So a snowstorm, just to confirm, if everyone, I mean, if you live in London, you might never have seen a proper snowstorm in real life. But if you live in the States, you might see snowstorms all the time. So a snowstorm is when it snows very heavily, but then also combined with a really strong wind. And it can be really dangerous, a snowstorm. And you'll know this if you've seen one, because it's really hard to see. And because their snow is so heavy and the wind, it's very cold. So it's very dangerous to go outside. And sometimes you have to stay inside. In fact, the snow might be so big that it stops you getting outside your front door. But in London, that doesn't happen very often. Okay, so we're going to give it a go. So the first thing to do is you've got your jar, you've got your baby oil in. Now, it's important in this experiment that we use the water because the water is going to interact with the oil. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour some paint in this bowl, and then I'm going to mix it in with some water. Not too much because I don't have that much room in my jar. Now I'm going to mix it up, and this is going to make the water a nice white colour, so it's going to look a bit more like snow. Okay. Now, it's probably a good idea to have a towel or something on hand for this experiment too, because it might get a little bit messy. Right, so we're going to pour this in here. Now, that is looking pretty good, maybe a little bit more. Now, it's not very stormy at the minute, is it? And that's because the Alka-Seltzer is the one that's going to make it all stormy. So at the minute, we've got the water and we've got the oil. Now, what can you notice is happening in your jar? Well, what I can see is all of the water and all of the bubbles have gone all the way down to the bottom, and the oil is sitting on the top. Have you noticed that too? Right, so what shall we do now? Well, now's the time to put in the glitter. And what we're going to do is we put the glitter in, but we need to wait until it sinks to the bottom. So you'll start to see the bubbles and the weight of the glitter, and it's falling to the bottom. I might add yeah, why not? Let's add lots of glitter because that'll be fun. So it's starting to settle there. I'll just bring it a little closer so you can see. Can you see the glitter starting to settle on the bottom? Now, whilst we're waiting for that to completely settle, I'm going to get out my Alka-Seltzer tablets. So let's have a look. You might have had some fun with Alka-Seltzer before if you've been doing like volcanoes, or, you know, when you can put them in Coca-Cola or something like that and it fizzes up. So here's my Alka-Seltzer tablet. Now I'm going to start with half a tablet because otherwise it might get really messy, and then maybe we can add some more at the end because then I don't mind if it gets messy. Okay, so the glitter is pretty much sunk to the bottom now. And now is the time for us to see if we can create a snowstorm. So get these things out of the way. Towel on hand, just in case it gets a bit messy. And let's give this a go. I'm going to bring it a bit closer to you, and I'll put the Alka-Seltzer tablet in. Now, can you see the bubbles are starting to move around? And hopefully it picks up some of that paint too. Let's bring it a little bit closer for you. Can you see my snowstorm? And it looks great. I bet if you use different types of glitter and stuff like that, it would look really cool. Now, I think I'm going to put in some more Alka-Seltzer there and try and get it really, really stormy. So give me a second. And you can hear the funny sound of the effervescing and all the gas that's being released. And I'll explain a bit of the science behind it in a minute and how it works. Oh. Okay, that's good. I don't think it's going to go over my glass, which is good. But look at that cool snowstorm. I can hear it fizzing. Can you see it? So now we're going to talk a little bit about how this works. What's the science behind this experiment? So you can see on the screen here, you know, when we were talking about the water sank to the bottom and the oil was on the top. And that's because oil is less dense than water. Dense sort of is the same as the word heavy. So it's less dense than the water. And that means that the water naturally sinks all the way to the bottom. And when the Alka-Seltzer is dropped in, it does two things. One, like I said, it releases gas. It releases carbon dioxide. And so it creates all of these bubbles, and you can see it's all kind of frothy and foamy on the top. And that's the carbon dioxide being released. That's why it starts moving around and it's reacting, the water and the oil and the carbon dioxide. And the other thing is that when you put the Alka-Seltzer in, it creates pressure. And what that means is that the oil and the water get displaced and they move around. And they're trying to get back to before, where the water was on the bottom and the oil was on the top. But because the Alka-Seltzer, it's kind of moving it around a little bit. So that's why you start to get this reaction where the water and the bubbles are going up and down, because they're trying to get back to where they were before. I think it's starting to settle down, my snowstorm now, because the Alka-Seltzer is kind of slowly running out. Can you see? So that's the end of our experiment. This was the first time that I've done it, so I'm really glad that it's worked well. And like I said, you only need a couple of ingredients, but the real key to it is, I think, you need the Alka-Seltzer to make it work so that it fizzes and it effervesces. I wonder if anyone has got any questions about the experiment, or if maybe someone has done this before.
Hi, Amy. Thanks so much for that. I wonder if maybe if we came out of the presentation, then we could see the snowstorm a little bit more clearly. And I can see we have a raised hand as well. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Oh, it's still moving around.
It's starting to slow down a little now.
Great. I can see that Phoebe has a raised hand, so I'm going to unmute your microphone. Hi, Phoebe.
If you put the Alka-Seltzer in, if you put lots of it, will it explode? Or?
I don't think it'll explode, but what's going to happen is, could you see it got all frothy and foamy as it moved about? I think eventually it would come out of the top. So I suppose it's a little bit of an explosion. I could put another one in and see what happens. Let's have a look. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to put a whole one in, so let's see. Oh, actually, that's really good. It's very stormy. Phoebe, do you have the things in to do this experiment, or maybe you can do it another day?
I wrote it down, but I didn't have any. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a great idea. I think that's an even better snowstorm than the one that we had before.
Yeah.
So we will do it then.
Thanks so much for your question, Phoebe. Thanks for joining as well. And Amy, thank you so much for that really exciting session. I can't wait to go make my own snowstorm.
Yeah, they look great, don't they?
Yeah, fantastic. And as Amy said, this has been recorded, and also we'll have the list of what you will need on the website page. So if you didn't get a chance to write it down or lose what you wrote it down on, then it will be there. Thanks so much again for joining us this morning. That's the end of our live sessions, but we're going to have the recordings and other fun activities on our website, and they're going to stay up there all through December. So please do check those out. I hope you enjoy making them at home. And Merry Christmas for everyone at Benjamin Franklin House. Thanks again, Amy.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for your message. Merry Christmas to you too, and Happy New Year. Goodbye.